I'm just trying to make some money.
There's nothing you can tell me. Come on, come on, come on. There's nothing they can tell me. Come on, come on, come on. There's nothing you can tell me to change my mind. This is what I love. This ain't just how I kill time. This is everything to me. Without it, I'd probably be dead by my own hand. Gunshots in my head, so there's nothing you can tell me. Vegas, grew up walking streets that are famous for movie scenes. Growing up, all I had was a movie dream. For her, I wasn't good enough. For school, I was too good. Dropped out and got a shitty job, just like they said I...
What's up, everybody? My name is Justin Puetz, and thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of Serial Wealth. The whole point of it is it's a documentary about my life and a big goal that I have. I want to become a part of the 1%. Yeah, let me try to walk you through this. When I talk about the 1%, I'm talking about net worth and creating actual wealth. So that means investing and starting or running businesses. Really those two areas, or three, however you want to count it. So, where do we go from here? My gut tells me that we should start with my actually most recent venture outside of this vlog. My brothers and I started our own company investing in real estate. Over the summer and fall, we flipped our first home. And right now we're on the hunt for finding our second one. And we've actually found it. We've got it under contract, but we're just waiting to close on it. We're actually going to head there next. I'll show you in a little bit what it actually looks like and what we're actually going to hopefully do with it and whatnot. I also want you to know that we're not experts at this. There's going to be a huge learning curve along the way, and there's also going to be big mistakes that we make. And it's my job to just tell you about those mistakes, and hopefully you guys don't make those too. So, without further ado, let's go make some money.
But I'm fine with that. Rather go to work than go to class and sit on my ass and learn some shit that'll never give me cash. Been heartbroken, betrayed and played. I'm thankful for that shit. Without it, no music would be made. It's too hot for the sun, it's too cold for the shade. We were born killers. For that, you're the ones that we thank. They never wanna listen to someone's dead and missing. They never once called them he's dead, now they miss him. Like they always wish them instead of believing in what they believed in. Rather be alone, it seems like every bullet just leaves them. Look with the point of this. Be so hard, I had to write and join this. You don't know my pain, so there's nothing you can tell me. Come on, come on, come on. There's nothing they can tell me. Come on, come on, come on. There's nothing you can tell me to change my mind. This is what I love. This ain't just how I kill time. This is everything to me. Without it, I'd probably be dead on my own hand. Gunshots in my head, so there's nothing inside of me that no one sees. I trust no one knowing me. I play my music for them. They don't even know it's me. Don't ever turn my music down. Turn this
Well, this is it.
it up till you can't hear your bitch bitching. Until your upper lip position from the bass hitting. Neighbors banging on your door cause they're sick of listening. What do? You tell them fuck you. Tell them call the cops and let's see how long it takes them to get to the block. My shit will rock with a deal or not. If you don't like me, you don't like me. But never say that my music's not high. It's high cause it's all I got. Barely had a plan A, let alone a fucking plan B. OD when I was 15. They said I scared them to death. I'm sorry, I was only trying to kill me. Thank God for these songs and the strength to move on. I love this music, it is all that I have. There's nothing you can tell me.
All right, so I'm coming to you from our actual next flip right now. In the background right here, you can see that this is something we clearly need to fix. But yeah, let's get back into it. Also, my apologies. I realize it's a lot of echo in here. Nothing I can really do about that. But a lot of times people ask me how we find our properties. And really what we've done so far is just went through a realtor. Otherwise, you know, another different way is to just search the internet. And you could also do kind of off the market ideas. And those would include such things as like just networking with people or possibly finding some yellow signs in writing, we buy houses. Later on, we'll actually experiment with those and see how effective they are versus just having a realtor bring us ideas and properties on a silver plate saying, hey, here are XYZ properties, and you know, this is typically what they would retail for. Some realtors actually flip houses on their own and typically like to stick with those because they're the ones who know what to find, know what a good deal is versus what maybe should be weighted on a little bit before the price drops. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing, let me just check my notes quick, would be when you're walking through and touring a property. Okay, so we're going to go into a lot more depth of this stuff and actually go into it of a step-by-step process that we use, or that we're using right now, and we'll probably figure out a little more. We're going to also look into that later in the episodes, but for right now, I'll just give you a quick overview. There's really 5 key areas I always look for in properties. Okay, so I always look at electrical, water heaters, furnace, the roofing, and the siding. Those are really 5 areas that I always look at when I inspect the house. Tons and tons of other stuff as well as I always make a list of what needs to be repaired, and I actually bring this little camera around, and that really I've noticed helps when I go back and look. I can basically take a whole tour of the house again and just visually picture where I am at when I'm walking around with the camera. But that's kind of what I look at when I'm touring houses. When you make an offer though, there's a big difference between cash and financing, okay? Cash is always king, all right? It's the most liquid resource you have. Now financing, the reason it's a little less accepted in the flipping world is because A, it's hard to get, B, you can void contracts easily with it. Let me give you an example. This house, for instance, we were not the highest bidder, but we bid cash, essentially saying we have the money and the funds right now. So we removed one of the ways we can get out of the contract, which some investors like. You know, it's nice to have a little way to get out. We still had an inspection period, which was a way to get out of the contract, but we still thought that this house was a gem, so it didn't really matter. But people who offered more than that and said we needed to finance that, then basically said, hey, I'll give you a little more, but you're also running the risk of me voiding the contract because I don't get the financing terms I want. A lot of times people don't understand that cash of a lesser offer is a better offer, believe it or not. All right, so it's a lot of times people don't know what to offer. So knowing what the house will be worth when it's all fixed up is really the key to this question. I'll refer to that as the ARV. That's the after repaired value. Now the ARV is really what makes an offer legitimate or not for an investor. That's the only thing to really look at. It's probably the hardest thing to determine. So if you've got your total after repaired value, we multiply that by 20%. Our bottom dollar, our margin is 20%. For our purposes, we'll say $125,000 is what it will be worth after repaired value. A 20% profit of that is $25,000. So now we're at $100,000, and then we take about 10% of the ARV. So of $125,000, that's $12,500. That brings us to, we're at $87,500. Now, I've estimated that this project will probably take about $40,000 of rehab. After subtracting our $40,000 rehab budget, we're left with a number of about $47,500. That's what we could offer for this property. We offered a cash offer of $41,850. There was also a buyer's premium. So the auction company said, we're gonna take 2% of the selling price or $2,000, whatever is greater. So on top of it all, we ended up actually only buying this property for $43,850, which is roughly $4,000, $3,000 or $4,000 below what we could have paid. And again, our budget, that was just speculative. That's just my opinion. We'll know more once we get to actual contractors and whatnot. But I think $40,000 is a lot of money to drop on a house, especially in St. Cloud, Minnesota. That's how we find our offer price. So we offered at $41,850, which I honestly was lowballing, and I really thought they were going to counter, but they didn't. They even accepted it, which kind of is bittersweet because it's good because we got it, and if we would have offered less, 2 scenarios would have happened. We would have gotten a better price, which is the flip side, or we could have lost the house in general as a whole to another investor. So looking at the good things, we got the house well below what we could have offered, and that's at a very modest ARV. So just all things to keep in mind. A lot of times too, people ask, how do you find the ARV? That'll be a later episode, but to keep it simple and to give you an idea, we find sales at close. We find pretty much the top 3 that are very similar in square footage, bedrooms, style, location. Well, once we find our 3, we actually find the range. and kind of can judge where it'll end. Being that this home will actually sell in the summer, it'll likely be towards the higher end, but for our number purposes and for bidding, we went with the lower end to kind of keep our estimates conservative and to hopefully hit our points even further. Let's recap. Step one, we found a realtor. We told him what we wanted. He helped us find houses. We toured about 17 of them, put in a few offers, got one offer accepted. Next thing we did was walk through that house again. So we walked through them all, but this time we went through, we looked at what needs to be fixed. We made estimates as far as, how much is it to redo a kitchen? How much is it to redo a bathroom, 2 bathrooms, to redo typical things? You can call a lot of contractors to get this information. Once we did that, we went through and actually have been proceeding with closing. And at this point in time, when I filmed this, we haven't officially closed on this. Next, what we'll do is we'll close on the house. We'll get in here. We'll get a ton of contractor bids, and we might be able to do that before we actually close on the house. I'll keep you posted. And then we're going to get working. Yeah, once we have the right to actually do damage to the house, so to speak, demolition. But yeah, so that's the recap. That's what I did. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. But right now it's kind of cold in here. 65 degrees outside today, but I swear it's like 40 in here. So let's get out of here.
Come on. There's nothing they can tell me. Come on.
All right, so we just got done just looking at the house a little bit. Kind of how we made an offer, what we look at when we're touring properties. I'm going to go into more depth about a lot of those things in later episodes. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple things. All right, so just to recap today's show, I introduced myself. My name is Justin Puetz, if you forgot. You can also check out all my information on my website. The whole point of this show is to document my journey to the 1%. So I'm going to document my way there. We're going to look at tons of different business opportunities, tons of different industries, and kind of how I attack each one. And hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and really start to pick up what I want to do, and also kind of give me some input. What do you want to see? What do you want to learn about as far as creating wealth? There will be mistakes. There will be a very large learning curve. This whole thing is me taking a leap of faith towards a goal of mine of starting a kind of a community that talks straight money, straight business, okay? I'm sick of the cookie cutter. I'm sick of all that crap that's out there. I want something that's substantive, and I want something that just talks dollars and cents to me, not all this other crap. Here's my last point. I want to start a question of the day. So my question of the day is, what do you want to see me experiment with? That can be anything. Anything that makes money, creates wealth. You've got my attention. Okay, I want to hear from you and see what you want to say and what you want to hear and what you want to see me do. I'd love to hear from you. Tweet at me. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I'm on everything. Yeah, find me, connect with me. I'd love to hear from you, hear your thoughts, and yeah, we'll go from there. Peace out, everybody. I thank you so much again for watching, and be aware for next week. We're going to have episode 2 ready for you. All right. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
There's nothing you can tell me to change my mind.